Tonight, the deep impact on the border, the ripple effect for American families and businesses if President Trump follows through on his threat to shut down ports of entry with Mexico, from beer and wine to fruits and vegetables.
The estimates are that if the border closes, we run out of avocados here in the U.S. within 3 weeks.
Tonight, the hit on the price you pay. Good evening, everyone. People on both sides of the southern border tonight are bracing for a possible border shutdown aimed at stopping the flow of migrants into this country and potentially hitting the bottom line for many Americans who depend on produce and other products from Mexico. President Trump tonight ordering 750 additional border agents to the region, threatening to close land crossings and to halt aid to 3 Central American countries. We have it all covered tonight, starting with Hallie Jackson at the White House. Hallie, good evening.
Lester, good evening to you. The president, from a political perspective, is working to turn the conversation back to the border with a focus now on immigration, an issue that's important to him and to his base. A surge to the south tonight with 750 more Border Patrol agents headed toward the Mexican border as the president pushes to shut it down altogether as early as this week. Maybe.
Has the Pentagon been asked to support the closure of the southern border?
Not as of this morning.
Although the overall number of undocumented immigrants crossing the border is down from its peak 2 decades ago, a record number of families and unaccompanied minors are now trying to enter the U.S.
That breaking point has arrived this week at our border.
The president has threatened a border closure before if Mexico doesn't step up to help.
Because I mean it, and I'll close it for a long time.
White House officials insist this time he's serious. And in another controversial move, the president's also cutting off some $450 million in aid to 3 Central American countries for, he says, not doing enough to discourage illegal immigration. Marlene Ruiz is seeking asylum near El Paso. They don't want to give us asylum, she says. Critics say closing the border won't help stem the flow of migrants like Ruiz, and neither will stripping aid from those 3 nations, money that helps fight the crime, violence, and poverty that drives people to leave in search of a better life. Hallie Jackson, NBC News, the White House.
This is Tom Costello. It would likely only take a few weeks before Americans would notice a border shutdown in the grocery aisle. Nearly half of all imported vegetables and 40% of imported fruit are grown in Mexico. From the cucumbers and tomatoes in your salad to the avocados in your guacamole, even the blackberries and raspberries in your smoothie. Not to mention beer, wine, and tequila for your margaritas. Most of it comes from Mexico. If the border closes, Americans could find themselves short on some key ingredients they've come to love. Avocados could be gone within 3 weeks. And because of the growing season, California would not be able to pick up the slack for another month or so.
We might not even be able to find them. Number 2, if we can find them, they're going to be very expensive. They could go up 2 to 3 times.
America's appetite for made in Mexico has increased, with the country demanding fresh foods rather than processed foods. A complete border shutdown could mean no travel by car, bus, or foot. Bad news for U.S. border states that rely on the relationship with Mexico. Tonight, a lot is on the line with America's 3rd largest trading partner.
Tom joins us now. Tom, a lot of American businesses rely on their production facilities in Mexico. So what kind of impact are they looking at?
Yeah, that's right. It's not just produce coming across the border. It's cars and electronics and plastics and medical supplies. We actually have a trade imbalance with Mexico. We import far more than we export. So if the U.S. shuts the border, both sides could pay a heavy price, and it's not just at the grocery store.